going on over there? Okay, we're back. If you're watching this on YouTube and you had to scroll onto this video, then we're about halfway done with our little guy here. I've got my yellow and my crimson on my brush. I'm gonna dab that guy off just a little. Get into my liquidy white area, and then back over here into that reddish color, a little bit into my yellow color too. Just so we'll have this kind of like just a fire in this bush. Ooh, oh, it's gorgeous. The more that we color in, right, the more depth that we lose. We have to retain those darknesses in there. The dark bits are the most fun, right? Now, I really like that. That's a fiery little color over there, isn't it? Just a fiery little color. So we're gonna go back over here into our bright red and the yellow, just kind of tapping in either pile, vice versa. Just like that. So you got all that stuff in there. Let's go off of this guy above and into your river versus just trying to cover the dark, right? You got to project a little and then go, okay, if I've done the top, maybe that light came down this way, over the edge, right? Maybe leaving a little spot of darkness back in there so not everything is all the same, and you just little bits, right? You can leave different stuff. You can always go. It doesn't always have to go down to the bottom, because watch this, watch this. If you're going slow enough, right? And you guys know me, I'm always going fast to try to keep everybody interested and all that stuff. But watch if we change this color. We'll go to the yellow and the green. Right? And we'll pop that kind of under that red. Look at that. Look at the depth that we just created in there. Right? Because it's bushes growing out of bushes on top of bushes over here. Right? And just having a little space in there, that's right where I look to. I don't know about you guys. That's right where I'm looking at. And that is just the things that are going to, be the difference in your painting. A little bit more of our green and yellow. So I'm trying to keep it separate. So I've got my green yellow on one side, my yellow red on the other side over here. Not trying to let them get too close together. And what if we did the same thing? We'll pick a different spot. So what if we go our green on the underside? Again, not trying to cover all of the stuff, right? Little bits fall down here. Do all these little shadowy things drooping down in the distance, knowing that we're going to eventually cover over the top with a bit of brighter color or different color or whatever. And how much more can we get to fall off? Right? Very cool. Very cool. Always dabbing off our brush in between. Makes your paper towels really, really, really pretty. Just really nice, right? We'll come over here into the white and yellowy area and pop it up. Let it roll down over the top, right? Not everyone's going to be gorgeous. Not everyone's going to be the bestest one you ever done did, right? Look at that. You get the coolest little things. Let's go a little bit more yellowy for this guy on the top. Just so we can kind of crisscross our colors, right? So maybe with all that yellowy fire, it's hanging out right up there in between. So you got a little bit of darkness, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of green, both of our highlight colors on the top. Very, very cool, guys. What if we just had a couple little things, right? We don't have to do too much. If we do too much, you ain't gonna like it. There. Little things, guys. The more that you brighten, the more you have to brighten. That's what I always say. So we're trying not to brighten too much of it. And it makes it so, it's so fun too. And that's why it happens. Because you're going, ooh, that looks pretty. Oh, that's cool. Oh, no, there's more. And then you're, oh, no, I covered it up. What happened, right? And that happens all the time. If we put a little bit. Just trying to get a little bit of brightness in that one spot without tapping at it too many times. Right? So we got to make sure that our paint's very wet. There. Just a little bits. Little bits. Pop right there. Little things. Don't do too many. They'll lose their coolness if we do too many. It's a very straight line, though, that I don't like. So let's come out right there. Bink. Just one little pop of yellow. Ooh, I like him. I like him. Okay. Now, we're going to mix up so much paint, you guys. Literally more paint than you've ever seen. So before we do that, we're going to want to clean up any area that you have available, right? Scrape off all the yellow, all this stuff, scrape, our wet paint area. We're going to use it in the front, but we're going to have so much paint to put on there first. So we're going to get a little bit of our white paint over here. come back underneath, right? Very horizontal into the pinky. And then as soon as we start seeing that yellow gold, let's roll over, right? You can, right in the middle, you can come straight down. Just like that. Straight down, straight down, straight down. Bang. Instantly looks like the water's falling out of there. But the further that we get to the side, the more we have to go over and down, over and down, over and down to make it look more rounded. See that? If you've got a bright spot, it's going to make it look like it's projected out right in front of that area, versus the darker areas are going to look like they're further back. So how do you want your golden waterfall to look, guys? It's golden. How far do you want yours to go outwards or down or whatever? How bright do you want it to be? Oh, that's fire. This looks like a river of gold. I like it, you guys. Little bits of bright on the top and let it kind of mix in with the yellow as it goes down. We don't want to do too many though. We try to get it on the first couple, and that way you don't have to do too many. Swipe that guy back. Literally all you gotta do. Let's take our one clean 1-inch brush right here and just kind of swipe this guy back and forth. He's gonna grow a little bit. We don't really want to hit our waterfall area because we want it to look different. Okay, and we can notice that our dark separator that's quite big right there. Right? That's a whole like 1/4 inch. Let's try to sneak it up a little bit smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller. And the more small that we can get it before those two colors become one color, the better off we'll be. Right back there. A little bit of darkness underneath it. It just gives that depthy feel, like we're going into the painting and there's a little bit of misty shadows. Oh, I love it. How's it looking over here on the tube since we fired it back up? Perfect. This is what I wanted to see. Okay, guys. Donna Waters. This is, I guess I'm a mix between Kincaid and Ross. I would say that. I would say that. Thank you, Miss International Queen. Everybody's over here on the tiki-taki today. Over here and over there. Make sure we're getting all of our shares out and all that stuff. And like I said, we're going to need to mix up a lot of paint. So let's take a few seconds to just wash off some of these brushes that we know we're not going to use anymore, like our fan brush. One of our fan brushes. You know what we forgot to do is put our tree in the back. Right there, but I kind of like it without it. We're going to see, because we can always go back and add it towards the end. We could add it if we want to. So you guys got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? Or vice versa, what's your favorite color to use when you're doing a painting? If you don't have a sandwich, or maybe you don't like sandwiches, then what's your favorite color? There we go. I think mine, it have to be blue, I would think. I think that this painting, there's no blue. So, you know, it's a little bit more difficult for me. I tend to struggle when there's lots of bright colors, when in fact like a blue wintry scene is much more comfortable for me. I don't tend to get lost there, you know what I mean? So, what is your favorite color, or what's your favorite type of scene to paint? Do you like all the beautiful colors? Because don't get me wrong, they look gorgeous, but they're hard to do. They're harder anyway than doing just a blue scene. So let me know out there in the comments world. And finish getting these guys all washed up. You're all washed up, you brush. Look. One thing, we use a lot of brushes when we do this painting. That is for certain. We've never done one with that kind of a sky though. It's gorgeous. Just plain gorgeous. Nothing else to say about it. Okay. Here's when we're going to come in with just an enormous amount of paint, you guys. And I'm going to show you right in front of your own eyeballs how much to mix up. Because it's a lot. And if you think you have enough, double it. Right? Cut it in half and double it. Because it's going to be more than you would ever think. Okay. You see the size of the piles on my thing. My Paint with Josh palette knife is very similar to the small Bob Ross palette knife. So if you have one of those at home, you can see the size of the piles that we're talking about. These are immense, immense piles. Humongous piles of paint. Okay? All that stuff out of here. Bits over here. Get rid of that stuff. Okay, now we're gonna mix up an enormous amount of black. Right? That's normally what we would need to make a couple trees like this size in the plaque mix, right? That's just black. We're gonna get twice the amount of crimson that's there, and that same amount of blue that's there, and we're gonna need more, I can already tell, right? Now, this pile is humongous. Look, it's gonna be bigger than my hand by the time that we get done with it, okay? So just for size comparison, on your own palettes, it's almost falling off. That's how much paint is actually there. It's almost drooping off and falling onto my floor. Just for comparison. There. Okay, now, you guys, we're gonna wanna make it big enough that we can get our 2-inch brush in there, okay? So, just about that wide, right there. You guys, we're ready to take a trip down super thick paint world, okay? Are you ready? Because we're gonna get our 2-inch brush. Now, mine is not a brand new 2-inch brush. A lot of people don't have a brand new one. They've got one that looks like this. It's starting to get all fat and crazy and widen out, and the bristles have broken off, and it's become a little bit shorter than it was in the beginning, right? We wanna get enough paint. And you know what? Oh, what would it look like with the Paint with Josh 2-inch brush? Because this is finer, right? But, oh my God, we're gonna see. Okay, we're gonna wanna get enough paint on the brush. So we're treating it just like a fan brush. We're wiggling down and forcing the bristles together, right? Look at that. That's the Paint with Josh brush. It didn't even get all the way closed, right? We're trying to get it to stick and be as close together as possible. You can see the ends of the brush are very sharp. Now, boy oh boy, don't hate me when you do this. Come out here and just start tapping in little bits. How sharp do you want them to be? That is none the reason less, right? It's all about the thickness of our branches as they're coming out, right? How crazily thick are they and chunktified as we're rolling them out onto this huge thing, taking away all of our sky is going to push all that stuff just miles and miles and miles into the distance. Come out with a little guy, come out with a longer guy. Hello, guys! What was that? What was that? Because I heard something. I heard uh-oh. Who got this one? You guys. Let's see. Debbie got it. All right. Man, I like it. I like it. Debbie likes it enough. There we go. Tap it out, right? They have to be huge, you guys. We're talking 2 full 2-inch brush taps outward on some of these guys because they are so big and so immense, right? We have to have it. All we're looking at is a tree that's so close that we can see just the extension of its branches, right? Just out there. And you kind of want to make them a little kind of a saggy triangle shape, right? That looks wicked cool. Just wicked cool. Yeah, like that. That's the Paint with Josh 2-inch brush, okay? Now, why don't we do the other side with the Bob Ross 2-inch brush? And then we can have both brushes on the canvas at once. Oh, so cool. Right, let me wash this guy out, and then we'll get over here. We'll change our brush to the Bob Ross brush, just to show you the difference, if there is any, or whatever it is. Guys, don't go to my Etsy store. Don't go to the Etsy store if you're watching. Go to paintwithjosh.com. the only thing that's in my Etsy store is just old stuff. Just really old stuff. Old prints, and ever since we moved over to my own, then I don't even update the Etsy anymore. Okay. Switch to the old 2-incher over here. And I'm surprised that was enough paint. I thought we were going to need more. Right? So again, I'm going to flatten out this big pile, about as wide as our 2-inch brush is. So we can come in here and again just push hard and load it into the bristles, shaking as you go. All right, that's going to force the bristles to close up. Right there, gorgeous. Okay, let's come off of this side, and again, same thing. Pop down a little bit out and get a little bit lower. A little bit down, a little bit lower. Turn the brush over so you got all that texture right there. Pow! Right? Have those little branches pop out. Perfect. Let's roll it down again. Because after a couple taps on each side, you lose all that texture. And you need the texture. Pop, 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 pop. Over those little colored bits. Put it over them. Make sure you cover it out enough. Right? It helps push them back into the distance. You got to forget about what's back there. Right? Pop down again. Little guys. Bang. Wherever it wants to be. Right? Big old saggy old tree, this guy. Whoop. Filling in our little center area, just so you have that effect of all them branches coming out. Boop, boop, boop. Some of them are a little bit bigger, some are a little smaller. Right? Just literally get it chunky as you can get. Okay? And you can see we've gone through that entire immense mega pile of paint, and it's now on our canvas. And now these guys are the closest thing that we can possibly imagine. But we need more paint. What are we going to do down here, right? We need that paint. First thing, job that we forgot to do was do our little splashers down here. Right? So again, up into the waterfall, and not just straight, kind of over there. We don't need them to be so big or spread out so far on this little guy. And then we'll be able to put our bushes in around him. Right? Spread it. Look at that golden falls. I love it. Oh, goodness gracious. That's a cool one, you guys. I like that. Okay, now you can see all right here, it's just empty. It's void of paint. Nothing there, right? All right here, too. Void of paint. So what we need to do, or devoid, one of the two, is mix up another humongo pile of paint, right? More black. Twice the amount of crimson. You can see my piles shrinking. That's how much paint that we're using, guys. You need that much paint. Right? Can you guys see that? You see that immense, just enormous pile of chunk right here? Do you see? That is the amount of paint that you need. I'm serious, especially if you want to do the 2-inch brush bushes. If you want to attempt bushes in another way, they are going to look a little different than mine. So if you're trying to copy this video, I would get your big old 2-inch brush out now. I hope you didn't clean it, because we're just going to overload it again. Right now, at this moment, we're only going to be, it's not as wide as the pile was before, right? Because, God, it's a big old chunk. There we go. Because we're going to be loading the brush a bit differently, okay? Doesn't even matter if we've still got all that paint on there for making our branches. That's perfect. We don't need to have much more. Now we're going to take our brush vertically and pull down and load it vertically downwards like this. Right? So just pulling it down, get as much on there as we possibly can. And then we're going to turn the brush over so the downside is now the upside. And we're going to launch in, right? So you have to hit the brush and then let it like that, right? And you hit it again, right? We touch, push out, touch, push out, touch, push out. It's going to give you this wicked, cool, crazy thing. It takes a lot of paint. So if you've ever seen Bob do it, or if you've ever tried to do it before and you just can't get it figured out, it's because you don't have enough of this chunk. Right? This stuff is the stuff of chunkified dreams. Watch, we'll try to project up into that mist, into our coloring. See how you're pushing the brush, and then it's just boop, making a little contact area on its, and making it odd around its edge, right? This is all filled in because the brush is so intensely huge. But that part's all filled in, and you get these couple little specks that pop out, just enough to grab some highlight when we get to that point, right? Same thing off of this guy. Even if you have your 2-inch brush, you can still pop some little hang-me-doers down there, right? All depends on how much paint's on the end of the brush, and then your pressure, right? We need lots of pressure on the inside, but by the time we get over those things, you just very lightly touching, right? So soft. Now, we can also, right at the base of this guy, just light up a little stream or something that was out there in the night. Right, however we want it to look, however bright or dark or whatever, it's way down here at the base. So it's not going to be too intensely bright, right? That's probably even too bright on its own. But in any case, we'll take it, spread it out. Lots of pressure, mix it in, see if we can throw it underneath some of that. There we go. Picked up a little bit of plaque over there, and that kind of darkened my water down a touch. See? Very cool. Very cool. Now, let's go over here. We still got tons of paint, right? So we'll come down with the brush like this, bloom, bloom, into the thickness, right? So we've got so much. And I mean, look, oh my God, look at it. Look at that, right? It's just chunky. Okay, so however we were loading it, we're pulling it down. We're gonna fold it back over, and you'll really notice it right in here. Hit it, bang. See how we got a couple that are even disconnected because they're coming off of different bristles. Pop, 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 little bits, little bits, little bits, right? Again, the paint goes fast because there's so much, and we're dumping on so much that it goes very quickly. You only get 5 or 6 or 10 taps before it's gone, and it's now stuck on our canvas, right? So, pop, ooh, just a couple little, whoops, little guys hanging down, right? And if we wanted to along the bottom, it all depends how we want it to look. You can pop up along this side, again, just projecting these little bits. That's what the 2-inch brush is for, to project those little things, right? And then that is almost impossible to get off of any other bush brush on the market, that bit, because we're pushing it from this side. If you had to hit it up here, like my brush, you have to hit that from the top and then push that darkness down. So, very cool little things, but it takes a toll on your brush. I mean, that is so much paint in there, you guys. We'll probably have to wash it out twice. So, now that we've got all our shadows down, we've covered up everything, right? Doesn't it look a little bit more nice, sealed in, and then we're gonna go add our highlights off the top of that. Oh, 6 o'clock? What? Oh, I need more thinner. Ooh, more thinner in there. Look at that. I dunked it in the thinner bucket. It's still black. Shake it out. There we go. Well, that got the majority of it out there. You can just dash that on a paper towel. But it takes a toll on your brushes, I'm telling you. If you've got that much paint all the way up inside of them, it's just, it's hard. There we go. Okay, I love this. These are disconnected, and then this is in the front over here, right? I've left a whole disconnected area for that guy. And however we highlight these, we can make them look however we want, you guys. Yeah! Okay, now, let's clean up that whole big area of our black color. And might as well just put it right back there in our black section and use it for some future painting down the road. There we go. Yeah. Oh man, my paper towels are like just soaked, just soppy wet because of all of our highlights already. And then all this other plaque on top of it. Oof. Oof. Okay, let's just see, my friends. We're going to need to mix up our green and our yellow right down here into a good little pile. Again, big enough for our 2-inch brush to load into it. Right? We don't even have to over mix. We want it kind of different there, right? Just a little bit difference. There's some darker bits, maybe there's some lighter bits, whatever, it's fine, right? Gonna go back and grab that liquid white on our 2-inch brush, right? We need a fair amount of it. We're going to roll it through the paint, tap it in, however you got to make it, right? And you can see how wet it is on this one side and how not it is on the other side. Let's get a little bit more of our liquid white. Run it down through here. tapping it onto our little bristles. Okay, now we're going to need very light touch as we start launching these little guys out, right? Very light touch. The more light touch, the better. Leave a little bit of shadow back underneath there too. And each time that we go to tap on it, right, it will pick up that darkness off of our brush. Very light little taps, right? Don't tap too dang much or too dang hard and you're not going to like what it looks like, okay? Tapping on, tapping on. Tap, 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 tap. Very small little things though. Again, too much is no good. Don't do too much. I like that right there. It's kind of cute looking. Now, you can see right here on the edge of the brush where our plaque is, because that's the only spot part of our brush that's actually touching anything, right? We're not hitting the whole brush all the time. Let's get a little bit more of that yellow, a little bit more of our green. Just mix them up right here. Right there, kind of scoot it up. Right, come over here, very light. Just like we're trying to make some grass on top of our little guy back there. Right, drop it down. Think about the tree shape and how it would be, you know, where the brightness would hit. Way the heck down here, and then maybe not so much as it fed backwards. Right? All in how you want to do it. There you go. And you don't want to tap it too many times. If you tap it too many times, it'll get too bright on us and be too crazy. There we go. That's cool. I like that. That's very neat. Okay, we got to do the same thing off the other side. Except I'm out. You know, no, actually, let's use our green and then our yellow ochre. And we'll have a slightly different green. And right on top of this other pile, too. So it's not too intensely different. You know what I mean? Little bits. Ooh, I like that. Especially when we brighten it up with our liquid white, right? So we'll go back into our little jar, our little lid of liquid white, back on top of our brush, nearly covering the whole thing. Right? Tapping it down into this little pile. Letting that green and white mix until there's no more little white bits. Right? Tap it. Come off of this guy, very light, like, just so softly. So soft. The more that you do, right, the brighter it's going to get. So try not to make it too bright. Bang, 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 bang. Little things, right? Little gaps in between. And eventually we run out of paint on our brush. Something out there on the front. Thing right in front of that bush. See how it pushes that bush backwards? These paper towels are just soggy. They are soggy over here. That's what happens with these paintings when we get all these colors and you have the right amount of paint and liquid white and all that stuff. It really starts getting wet crazily fast. Little bits, little things, right? And it's going to take practice to get trees like this. Sometimes I do them and I'm like, oh, Josh, that wasn't good. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I'm like, ooh, that's the best tree I've ever done. It takes practice. This is only like the 5th time I've ever done these. Okay? So, remember, keep some separations. See why we couldn't have our bright green right here in that grassy area? Because I knew my tree was going to come in and take over. Right? We just don't want to do too much. That's all. That's all I ever say. Don't do too much. That's a lot of paint. I'm sure I'm dipping these into the paint that's on my palette every time I lean down. Okay, so you guys, since Debbie got this one, she's gonna have to pick the title by the time that we get done chitling it all, right? So help her out in the comments. What would you want to call this one? If it was yours and you had just barely done it, and you're like, you know what, this is the best thing I've ever done, and now I got to come up with a name, right? What would you want to title it? Tell us. And Debbie might just choose your title over everybody else's. You might just change her mind. She could be like, you know what, I'm going to title it this, and then she reads your comment. She's like, you know what, never mind, I'm going to title it that. All up to us. Now, let's grab our bush brush or your Bob Ross round brush, and we're going to tap onto these little guys, okay? Excuse me, not the Bob Ross round, the Bob Ross oval brush. Use the oval guy. We're going to come in here with a little bit of our liquid white, just a little Chacharuski, a little bit, right? This pile we already know is supremely wet with the liquid white, so why don't we come over here and work some of this color in first. So we get a little of our yellow ochre, a little of our red, pinky, right? Scoot it up onto the edge of the brush, and then very light little touches, and let's move the brush, right? Let's rotate the brush as we're doing it. So it's not just the same shape over and over and over again, right? If we turn the brush upside down, or roll it this way, or tap it and roll it up that side. You never know until you go do it, right? Now look what happens too. All the darkness gets onto the ends. So how much bright can you retain depends on how much liquid white is in your mix. If you've got a lot of liquid white in your mix, then it's going to come off of our brush easily, and it's going to stick on with the smallest little tip-tappies. Right? Little guys, little things, little bits of difference back in here. On the inside, there's a little bit of green underneath some of those guys, right? All into how we want to do it. Maybe there's a little bit hanging off the edge of those guys, but just the smallest touch, so you have those separation areas in there. All right, now let's get a little bit more of our liquid white, and let's see if I can get a little bit more of my cad yellow just on its own over here. Over here, what if we had just a couple little bits? Let's imagine what this little bush might look like as he's growing down, right? So we know we don't want to connect everything, so let's make him just like that. It's got a little bit in there, a little bit over here. You know, we don't need everything to be as bright as everywhere else. And that can just be one guy on his own. You know what I mean? It does not have to cover everything. If we get a little bit more liquid white, problem. That's the problem. There's so much liquid white on this painting, you guys. Zip, zap, zoom. Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is almost done. Okay. All right, let's go into our liquid white. Remember, you gotta have enough in order to make the paints wet enough. Right? That's a lot. But if we mix it in with that red, it will become very wet. If it's very wet, it will drop off of the brush. Very cool little angles and different little bits and things in the night. Right? If it's all too thick or too not wet enough, you know what I mean, then it's not going to deposit off of the brush easily. It's going to take more pressure off of the brush to get it to drop on, and that's not what we want. Drop down something over there. There's a couple little things. They don't all have to be the same. They can be different, you guys. So keep coming up with a title, and we'll just see what Debo wants to name this little guy, right? Remembering that we can't all just use all the bright colors. You got to get back in there with your green and such. Every so often, back in, toss it into the green. Look at this guy drop out. He's falling down, right? Little bits, right in between them. Very soft touch. Not necessarily to drop more paint, but just to soften the paint that's already there, right? The more that we push back or make it darker or softer, the more it looks like it's in. The brighter parts look like they're standing out, right? Didn't add anything extra to the brush. It's just how it's falling off and blending in with that plaque mix. Drop it down, right? Leaving little spaces in between. Take a step back and look at it, right? That's what you got to do all the time. Remember, you got to step back from the painting and look at it. Because when you're right up here, and we're so close, we tend to see too much, you know what I mean? Or we can't see enough. And we become blinded by how close we are to the canvas, right? So, if you're ever feeling like, oh, it's getting away from me, I don't know what it's just looking bad, like take a step back, and then look at it again. That's what I do every time that I look back at my camera, or I look back at the TV over here. I'm looking at what you guys can see. Maybe fill up that one little spot right there. Bang. Right? Just with a couple more little flowers. We don't want the flowers to go all the way to the back. Right? We like these dark areas along the edges that don't have everything. Man, that's cool. All right, but down in here, I say, what do we do? That was my mouth, by the way. I'm not just up here tooting like a madman. Right, a little of our red and our yellow ochre combined, and we'll make a really cool little orangey reddish color. Pop them off this guy. Bow, bow, bow. Right? remembering to let it get darker towards the back. We don't need all the brightness back there. And if anything, if you do want some bit of color, put some green, okay? Don't just overfill it with all the reds and yellows, even though they look so pretty, right? You can't overfill. Don't overfill. Man, my paper towels are just foul. Let's see. Okay. Yes! So, what are we going to title this one? Let us know in the comments right now. And be sure I cleaned all these other brushes off. So, I will be ready for our final step, okay? This guy, we're going to take our dry liner brush. I'm going to dip it into my thinner. Okay, so I'm going to dip it into the thinner so it drips out. See it dripping? Whoop, little whoops. All right, we want to dip it and let it drip onto our palette once or twice. Right? A couple dips, however. Just so it's very wet, very watery. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? Right in here, we can now see. There we go. See the difference in all that? This stuff is very runny, wants to flow down versus our thick titanium white, right? That doesn't want to move at all. Now, from these dark areas, you can flick in a couple little branches, just here and there. The more wet that your brush is, the more easily the branch will grow and extend outward, right? Kind of up underneath those guys. Maybe he's got a couple little branches holding that stuff up. You never even knew until you put it in, right? Same thing, we can let them feed down into a little tree. We're not going to be looking for every single thing, every branch. No one's out there checking it all to make sure, right? We just want to see. I want to see a couple things in there. A couple little bits down in here. These are the guys that we like to scrape in when we're on our white canvases. We go scrape it in with our little knife. Those are the most fun, right? A couple of bits down here. There's little things wherever you think. Doesn't that make it just more full and just so much cooler? Doesn't that make it just more, you get more depth? Like what if you had one right in there and it was growing up and out, right? Just growing out of the bush. And it came across this way. Just trying to grow its way out. Get a little bit, right? We're pushing back. Maybe it wants to be like that David and painting with the fingers. We don't want it to get too close though. Over here, up and out, however far from the dark spaces that you want them to grow, the more that you add, the cooler it's gonna be. Think, right? Twisting our brush, letting it rotate, pushing things backwards. This whitish grayish mix is literally what the tree branches look like out there. I'm dead honest. Right? We got a couple, there's a couple little things popping out of the tops of those guys, right? Maybe holding up underneath or wherever, right? And one more, right up to through the top of the grass, right? That's going to help push the grass into the distance just by having that a little bit closer, right? So many little things we can do, you guys. So many little things, and since I already put all my brushes away, you can come back over here and just finger paint, get a little tap right in there, right? Let it mix. Never even know the difference. Never even know the difference, you guys. Woo! That one's fantastic. Okay, let's throw our signature on top, and then you guys have to tell me, well, tell Debo what we're going to title her painting, and she gets to tell me. Let me sign this guy real quick. Just real fast over here. My liquidy wetness into the brusharooski. And we'll come up here into this morning dusky sky. I like it, man. Just flying through. We're coming to visit. Over here. About to land. Let's throw our little signature down here. We're going to drop some droppings on these trees. That's how all these trees end up growing. It's from the droppings. The droppers. Come out here like this. Throw in the old JK. Just kidding. No, for real. There we go. Okay. We're a little less pineapples. Doesn't mean we're fully unpineappled. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Guys, what do we got for a title? How many titles do we have out there? What's up, Terry? Klondike Brown. Hidden Falls of Wonder. I like that for a title, guys. Hidden Falls of Wonder. This guy over here. I'm so ready to move, you guys. Get into our other space. Much more room. Put my new easel together. I got my new easel from Needham, but I don't want to put it together here and then just have to shuffle it down over there. We're just going to save it since it's still in the box and put it together while it's over there. Here. Number 17. What did we say this one was? I think it was 1729. I think that's it. Hidden Falls of Wonder. Okay, 1729. Come up here. Hidden Falls of Wonder. Perfect. Painted on 3, 2, 24. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com because it's the bestest place of all time. Right, maybe not of all time, like top 5 for me anyway. I don't know. This guy up here without having any accidents. There we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Woo! That one came out fantastic, you guys. That's funny. That's okay, Goat Lady. There's we did a tutorial for it over on YouTube, and you can go check it out. Very nice. Thank you, Maddie J. That's funny. Thank you, thank you. Who said beautiful painting? I always miss the name. Lou, appreciate it. Think it needs fireflies, says Anna. Oh, man. Truly outdone yourself tonight on this one. Thank you, Stevie Mac. 2000. Wendy, I appreciate it. Thank you all, guys, for being over here. You guys are all fantastic. ASMR channel says, holy crap. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Holy crap, right? These big old trees, you guys. Which one did you like better? And be honest. Did you like the Paint with Josh shape, the Paint with Josh brush, or the Bob Ross brush shape? I can take it. I can take it if you want to be honest. I didn't mind either which way. You know what I mean? They tend to look fantabulous. And remembering that we're not painting every part of the tree. We gotta have some shadowy bits in there. I'll try to cover every bit of that darkness. All right? What'd you guys think? Which one do you like better? I like them both. Me too. Me too. Fairy Wonderland type of painting. I mean, no, not really. By definition, I guess. Pink ones, pink fireflies. You guys. So, let's see. Is it Debo Webo that's our purchaser? Did you want fireflies in there? Because we could add some fireflies if you want. We could toss in a couple. But other than that, we're ready for a light party, you guys. Are you ready for the light party? Are you ready for the light party? Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you. Yeah, the jungle ones are kind of fairy-ish. Okay, no to the fireflies. I dig it. All right, let's do our light party. Wes says, whoop, whoop. Let's do a light party. So here's what we're going to do. This is your flash warning. If you're sensitive to light, turn your phone away. Don't look at it for like 90 seconds. And then I'll tell you that it's okay to look back when it is, in fact, okay to look back. And also, if you wanted a smaller, more cost-effective version of this painting, if you go to my website, right below this one is the other one that we did in class earlier that came out really fantabulous. It's got a cool little tree. I'll show it to you in a minute. But we'll do our light party. And then, if you wanted to go check out paintwithjosh.com and just scroll a little bit down, you'll see that other one that I'm talking about right there. So, Here's your flash warning. If you're sensitive to light, turn your phone away for the next 90 seconds or so. I'll tell you it's okay to look back when it is okay. If you're going to stay for the light party, please type in the words, I'm ready. And when you type in the words, I'm ready, keep your thumbs right there or your fingers on the keyboard and tell me the first thing that flashes the most for you. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Light party! Hey! Bubbles! Look at it. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. You guys, what's flashing for you the most? Is it the sky? Maybe the water? Maybe the tree branches? Right? The flowers? What do you feel? What do you feel is flashing the most? All of it. All of it. The waterfalls. I dig it. The reds are flashing the most. So the little pinky bushes. Right? I like it, guys. I like it. The water and the sky and the flowers. I like that. The red bushes. Okay. The light part is now concluded. You may now look back at your screens and have the normal lighting on your phone, right? Now, we're also going to do something that we call an RGB party, which means we're going to take just red light, just green light, and then just blue light and shine it onto the canvas, which is going to change it to our eyes, and then it'll go back to normal, right? So all I need you guys to do, have your fingers there, right? And just type in one of the 3 colors, whichever is your favorite, okay? We're going to go blue in 3, 2, 1, blue. Oh, look at it. I'll turn this guy off. There we go. Oh, no. My phone died. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's funny. That is hysterical. The house phone passed away. Okay, gonna go green in 3, 2, 1, green. I don't want to just stay blue the whole time, right? Oh, I can't believe that happened. Oh, no. We're trying to get it back up. Trying to get it back up. I'm having a seizure. That's funny. All right, we'll go red in 3, 2, 1, red. Which is your favorite? Mine always tends to be the red. I don't know why. We're going to try to get this phone back up and going quick. Oh, is it still paused? I hope. Get it going, man. Over here. Live. Is it still? Shoot. Dang it. Is it gone? That's weird. There we go. Resume. Resume. There we go. Okay. So we had the red and the green and the blue, and now we're going to come back to our normal lighting. And it came out fantastic. You guys, over on TikTok, my phone decided to just all of a sudden, boop, and that was it. That was it. I looked at the screen and it was black, and I was like, oh no. It didn't even like indicate. All right, should we do it one more time? Should we do the green and red and blue one more time? You guys tell me in the comments. Say yes or no. Do the green, red, and blue one more time since the phone shut off and we had to plug it back in and now everybody's back. What do we think? Do we think yes? Everybody says yes over here because they all missed it. They all missed it. Okay, we'll do it one more time, all right? So we're going to go blue in 3, 2, 1, blue. Ooh. It's fabulous. It makes it just so nightimey. You know what I mean? Just dark. The darkness. Okay, so there's your blue. And then we'll go green in 3, 2, 1, green. Oh, it's lovely. Look at that for a color. That looks very much similar to all the greens that are on there, right? So cool. All right, now we're going to go red. And then you got to tell me which one is your favorite. 3, 2, 1, red. Oh, it's like the devil's waterfall. Yeah. I like how all the green goes dark in the red lights. Like the green becomes the shadowy paint. Very cool. Okay, back to normal lighting, guys. Again. Again. So which one was your favorite over there on TikTok, guys? What is the, was it the red, the green, or the blue? Because I tend to think it's the red for me most times. Just most times. Cassie Brenner says red. Red. Right, it's very cool. Red, red, red. Everybody says red. A couple blues in there. The blue makes it very hard to see for me. So, you guys have been amazing. Everybody over on YouTube, I love y'all. I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. So please, please, please send them in to facebook.com/officialpaintwithjosh, or drop them on to any part of one of my posts on Facebook so I can see your photo, or send them into instagram.com/paintwithjoshk. I can't wait to see what you guys can do. All the practice that it takes for these guys. The thick paints, right? It's going to be really cool. It just takes practice. So send them in. I want to see them. And until I see you guys over there on YouTube again, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And blah, blah. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.